Para po sa record, ano po yung buong pangalan niyo at ano po yung mga involvement niyo sa ngayon?
Ang pangalan ko, formal na pangalan ko ay Loretta Ann Pargas, ang maiden name ko, Rosales ang married name ko. Ang current involvement ko ngayon, katatapos ko lang ng 9 years sa Kongreso, sa Kamara de Representantes, bilang kinatawan ng Akbayan, isang party list political party. And sa kasalukuyan, tila ang nakikita ko, parang oversight functions ang ginagawa ko. Kumbaga, balik ako sa civil society work at ang naramdaman ko, dumagsa lahat ng trabaho. No? Mukhang ganong karami rin ang trabaho ginagawa ko. Gumigising pa rin ako maagang-maaga, ganon, ano. Problema lang, hindi ako nababayaran. At least dun sa Kongreso, may bayad na binibigay sa akin. Ito, voluntarismo. Katakot-takot na voluntarismo. Yun yata ang ibig sabihin ng paglahok ka talaga sa kilusang panipunan, ng social movements na sinasabi. So sa ngayon, principal na naatupag ko, at least yung binubuo, tatayo ako ng kasama yung iba, isang koalisyon, ang tawag namin sa sarili namin, Task Force 2010. Ibig sabihin naman, siyempre, paghahanda sa halalan sa 2010. At ang focus ko rito ang mga kabataan, katulad ninyo, Joel Abala, no? At yung kanilang mga institusyon, yung kanilang mga samahan, yung kanilang kagalingan, sa computer, sa lahat na, sa pag-organisa, upang sa ganun makatulong sila dito sa tinututukan ng Task Force 2010. Ito, binubuo ito ng dating mga electoral watchdogs, no, na kumbaga, bawat eleksyon, ito yung mga nagpapa-credit sa COMELEC, at sila mismo, halimbawa, yung PPCRV, alam na natin to, saklaw nito yung buong parokya. Yung NAMFREL, hindi makapasok dahil mukhang namumroblema siya sa kanyang pangulo, kung sino ba yung pamanian, wala nang umalis sa Jocon. So, yung Institute for Political and Electoral Reform, ewan ko kung marinig ng Mr. Hyper, no? Mali Simon Casiplan, Executive Director dito, ako naman presidente diyan eh. Siyempre, passive ako na nasa Kongreso ko, active na naman ako ngayon, no? At saka, so lahat yung mga electoral watchdogs, meron yung Citizens Care ng Mindanao, at saka ARM, kaya busy sila doon. Tapos, meron yung, kumbaga sa Ateneo, yung tawag nila sa sarili nila, yung SLB, Samahang Lingkod ng Bayan. Ito yung nasa likod ng Sumilaw, nasa likod ng mga pagkilos, no? Kumbaga sa De La Salle University, De La Salle, Manila. Tapos saklaw din dito yung CEAP, Catholic Educators Association of the Philippines, pero NCR level, so senior to, no? Jerry. At ang balak nito, wag manatili or wag umasa lamang sa Commission on Elections na siyang gagawa ng reforma sa eleksyon. Masyadong napakalaki ng problema nito para iwan lamang sa COMELEC, no? Pangalawa, wag din magkasya dun sa mga dating gawin ng electoral watchdogs. Sila yung taga-bantay, may network sila, yung bantay-bantay. Ako, naniniwala ako, sa akin na ito nanggaling, ano yung tingin ko, kung tunay na gusto natin ng pagbabago, kinakailangan ni aktibong paglalahok. Ito na yung pagka-aktivista ko, hindi ko mawala sa sarili ko kahit anong gawin ko, no? May aktibong paglalahok ang mga mamamayang Pilipino, lalong-lalo na yung talagang desidido at saka dalisay ang kanilang kaisipan sa pagbabago. Talagang gusto nila ng pagbabago. Eh, siyempre, sa kaasa ng ganyan, dito siyempre sa kabataan, mga estudyante, no? mga teachers, no? Yung mga walang mga maiitim na agenda na sa likuran nila. Yun. So, yun, isang balak. At yung electoral reforms na yun, ang tututukan nun, hindi mga ilan, pero tututukan nun, yung registered voters list. At tulong-tulong, kabataan, teachers, komunidad, barangay, ang mga citizens, senior citizens, at saka mga samahan sa mga barangay, para linisin ang registered voters list at the level of the barangay at saka yung mga eskwelahan. So, yun. Isa lang yun, pero marami pa, pero baka matagalan masyado sa ganyan.
Opo. Nabanggit nyo kanina yung sabi niyo yung mga estudyante kasi yung sa tingin nyo wala pang mga nasa likod na may itim na bala o ano man. Naalala niyo po ba nung kayo ay estudyante pa lang? Anong pakiramdam noon? Doon po ba nagsimula yung sinasabi niyo activism kami?
Sa akin?
Opo.
Hindi. Nagsimula yon nung nagtuturo na ako. Kasi nung estudyante ako, well, merong aktivismo, pero konti-konti pa lang ang natatandaan ko lang doon, well, doon nga siguro nagsimula. Yun lang, enjoy lang ako no? Hindi malalim yung pag-aaral ko tungkol doon. Nagmarcha kaming lahat, UP kasi ako UP student ako. Nagmarcha kaming lahat sa Malacanang, hindi, sa Department of Education, si Corpus pa lamang yung Education Secretary, kaya matagal na yan. Tapos, nagmarcha kami ng mga professors namin, estudyante ako, at ang tinututulan namin, yung issue tinututulan namin, it had to do with UP mga some issues of UP and education issues. Kita mo, hindi ko na matanda ko yung issues namin. Yun lang, enjoy kami kasi nagmamarcha kami lahat.
Saan po yung marcha?
Nagmarcha kami nagsimula kami sa UP, no? Pagkatapos, nagmarcha kami. Pagkatapos, nagsakayan kami, tapos nagmarcha uli kami patungo sa Department of Education. Yun. Ganon. Yun yung unang-una kong marcha. Enjoy lang ako kasi nagmamarcha ako. Pero, yun talagang medyo nag-isip na ako. Teacher ako noon. Sa Jose Rizal, college pa siya. Hindi pa siya university, no? Nung pinatalsik ako, naging university na yun. College pa lang ako noon. Nagtuturo ako. Pero, nagtuturo ako ng social sciences, history, political science, saka mga, Philippine Constitution, saka Rizal. Naririnig ko sa radyo, nakakapakinggan ko nakakikita ko sa telebisyon, yung mga kabataan, iba yung sinasabi din sa tinuturo ko. Actually, yun Tapos, alam mo, ang ganda ng mga sinasabi nila, na-attract ako. I was attracted to the ideas, Yun. It was an attraction to the ideas of what the students were saying. Sabi, yung mga estudyante naman nun, napaka-crudo pa. Well, theoretically, makuan sila. Alam mo mga estudyante, very theoretically, nakakala mo, pero they had a gospel, yung authority nila was absolute, no? Tapos yung talagang walang pagkakamali, the way they were discussing this. But because they were new ideas, they were fascinating. And then there was this Kamanyang, there was the pagkatanghal. Diba? Kasi they came to Jose Rizal College, nanonood lang kami, tapos siyempre, kakatakot ka ba nyo? Radical kasi yung kanilang mga pagkapan yung kanilang interpretation of the revolution, katipunan, and so on. Because of that, actually, doon mo masasabi na yung parang propaganda movement, kilusang propagandista, ang nag-akit sa akin na pumunta sa UP, hanapin ko ang kilusan. So, akong humanap sa kilusan. So, I went there precisely to take up graduate studies, sabi ko dun sa may-ari na eskwela, gusto ko kumuha ng MA, pero yung kalooban ko, hinahanap ko yung political movement. So, ganun yun. Tapos, yung KM, mga estudyante yun, hindi na ako pwede doon kasi teacher ako Kaya masyado na ako matanda, no? So, hindi nila ako tinanggap. Or at least, hindi na ako masyado nag-apply sa kanila. And then, later on, may Humanist League. Yun. And yun, mga parang mas malumanay siya, maangkop sa mga teachers, etc. Doon nag-umpisa yung discussion groups. Tapos, ang mga nagbigay ng mga pag-aaral sa akin, mga guro ng UP. Tapos sa mga nangyayari. So, that's how it started. And later on, yun. Until one thing led to another. Pero, I was fascinated, I was enjoying myself with all of these new ideas. Before I knew it, martial law was declared. But I had a chance to go to China. Dahil nung panahon na yon pangalan niya, ang nag-aalaga ng ating elliptical road, si Charito Planas. Charito Planas was the head of this ACU. Alam niyo yung ACU? Association of Philippine Chinese understanding, people-to-people relations. Initiatiba yan ng China.
Mm.
Because we did not have diplomatic relations, nagsimula sila ng people-to-people relations. So lahat, inaakit nila, professionals, business sector, media, teachers, students, mga ganyan. So I belong to the teachers and professionals. So nagpunta ako sa China. Siyempre naman may impress ka. That was what was known as the GPCR, yung Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, of course. So, talagang impressive yun. Very, well, they put their best foot forward and they had their children's palace and the children were being taught. There was so much energy. Sa akin, positive yung tingin ko din sa mga nangyayari noon at that time in a particular space and time. And, of course, it was so impressive and fascinating. Ang bilis makapag-absorb ng ideas na gano'n. And then, the books of China, well, I mean, the books of Mao Zedong were all over the place. So, bumili ako ng lahat ng volumes and when I started reading, talaga namang ma-attract ka dun sa the way you go. So, yun. That was how it was. Ang daming volumes nun Kung kinuha lang ng military, hindi ko pa nakakuha naman. Ito mga libro ko yun. But it was really intellectual, the attraction to these new ideas. That's what attracted me.
Gaano po kayo matagal sa China, sa Panamon?
Sandali lang. Ilang linggo lang yata. Oo. Pero ang mga kasama ko doon, namatay na siya, yung painter, si Jose Roya. He even made a sketch of me, Wala ko ng sketch doon sa gulo namin. Jose Roya, yung artists, at saka si Orphy Helveson, mga teachers ng UP. Yun. Mostly teachers ng UP, at teachers ng mga ibang lugar, ibang eskwelahan. Kami yung nagpunta ron. 2 weeks siguro kami ron. And we went all around. I remember, siyempre na-istriktuhan ako sa kanila kasi nakabantay sila all over the place. Gusto kong tumakas. Hindi naman ako sanay naman nakabantay lagi. Tumakas kami. Umiikot kami. Shoot, huwag kayo matakot ulit kayo. Sabi ko, ako yung mukha doon. So kung saan kami nagpunta, naglakad kami, enjoy kami kasi malaya kami. Natakasan namin yung aming security ng Chino. Nung pauwi na kami, sabi na, uwi na kami gano'n. Pagbukas ng pinto, nasa likuran namin pala sila. Kala namin, kala namin nakatakas na kami yun. But that was, they were discreet enough. But, yun,
Ma'am, between dun sa pagpasok niyo sa UP as a student and dun sa bago mag-declare ng mga siya, gaano kadalas nag-figure out yung Mindiola sa mga pagkilos ninyo?
Ay, malakas. Oh my God. Alam mo ba, kasi yung first quarter store niya, and yung January 26 ba yun? Yung 26.
Ay, later. After.
Yung talagang malakas na
week na yun.
Yung that whole week. Grabe, I mean, the radio was on all the time. And doon hindi pa ako ganun active, I mean, napapakinggan ko. And it was scary. Siyempre, natatakot din kami kasi, grabe. At nung panahon na yun, mild nga ngayon Napaka-mild. Noon, yung Molotov cocktails, iniitsa ng mga bata, mga estudyante. Nakatulad ninyo, nag-iitsa. Meron silang nakatago ng mga Molotov cocktails. Iniitsa nila talaga.
During the
pagkabanatan na. Ganon. And yung during that period, yes, Mendiola, but the rallies that I started to join already, when I was already na medyo nakuha na nila ako, Luneta na yun. That was one big rally. That was a big rally because Central Luzon was there. Alam mo na yung the workers of Central Luzon. Pampanga. I should remember that. Kasi nandun pa lang kami, nagsasalita ko sila, Balpingal yan Yung mga youth noon, mga student leaders noon, sila Balpingal, sila, siyempre tatanda na itong mga sumasakit ng kami, may mga arthritis, mga yan, nasa States na si Balpingal, na umuwi rito. Tsaka si, kapitalista na siya, si ano pangalan niya? Anyway, his name will come back. These were the student leaders, well, they were there with all their fire and fury, talaga naman, ganyan. Then before, Nagputo ka na. No?
Bilis po.
Takbo na kami. Oh, that was my first experience ng putukan, yung violent dispersal. Luneta yun. Di, nagganunan sila ng initya nila yung, anong tawag mo rin ito? Yung tubig
Dahil sa fire truck,
oo, pero may kwan siya, may kulay. Yung tubig, may kulay. So, pag ginanon ka nila, nagtakbo ka, may kulay ka na. Hula ka na, huhulihin ka na nila. Ganon. Ganon yung nangyari doon. Tapos, syempre, yung tear gas. The tear gas, talagang tinapon nila yung tear gas. Kaya, we ran from near the Rojas Boulevard na yun, takbo kami, and ayun, tear gas kami lahat. So, we had to get kung saan, from Didamo, tsaka kung saan ginaganon namin, sakit-sakit. Tapos mga binugbog lahat doon, they were beaten up, mga farmers from Pampanga. That was my first experience of violent dispersal. I had several others, pero nakakaligtas din ako. Dito talagang tumakbo kami. And I had my younger sister. Yun. Then Mendiola was, naririnig ko talaga yun. And yun yung they stormed the coffin, di ba? And slide carrots na yun. The start of that. Doon, I was still an observer ng panahon yung first quarter storm. But it didn't take long before masama na.
Kailan po naalala niyo po yung unang marcha niyo papuntang Malacanang sa Mendiola? Kung na yan, much later na ito. This was already binasag kasi martial law was declared. Yes.
Tapos, tawag mo rito, bawal na bawal talaga ang pagpasok sa Mendiola. Binasag ang Mendiola ng students under the leadership of Leon Alejandro was then the head of the student council ng UP. Tapos inorganize niya lahat yung buong, ang tawag mo rito, buong YS ng the University Belt. No? So maraming mga sumama. I was supposed to go there, but I just came from Cotabato City where I delivered a talk before yung mga bishops, yung mga Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines. Tapos nagkaroon ako ng H fever from Cotabato City, yung gano'n. So, lulugo-lugo ako na pumunta ron. Then, I just met them sa UP Steps. Yun. I will just observe you, sabi ko gano'n. Tapos, because I could not march. Yun. Tapos nag-marcha sila. Yun.
Saan po yung affiliation nyo nitong Philippines?
Alliance of Concerned Teachers na ako. We were the ones who found I was the one who founded the Alliance of Concerned Teachers with the public school teachers. Ganun, Ako naman, UP ako. Pero, ang Alliance of Concerned Teachers is a product of our strike in Jose Rizal College. Nagwelga kami. Again, that was a choice. The owner of the school was a very powerful man. His name was Armand Fabella. He was a very strong man behind Marcos. He was known as the reorganization man. And he could reorganize all the cabinets out of existence. Kaya takot ang gobyerno sa kanya. He was very powerful. And he owned the school. So pati the Department of Labor was headed by Blas Oble, tapos Corpus yata sa education. So yan, nangangatog ang mga tuhod nila dito kay Fabella. There was a choice. Sabi ni Fabella, nararamdaman niya siguro yung activism ko. He offered graduate studies sa UP. Full scholarship yan, libre lahat. Di ba? Nilisip na ako. Tapos, pumasok yung mga union members na teachers, tsaka mga teaching personnel. Inakit nila ako, can we elect you as the president of the union? We would rather you become president of the union so as to fight for our wages. Pinili ko yung president ng union kasi dun sa graduate studies, it started the whole thing. And pinili ko yun, edi we ended up in a strike. Napakaganda ng strike na. Of course, it was a defeat, no? Siyempre, hindi naman nagbe-victory yan eh. Pero, lahat ng estudyante, paralisa, Parang sa eskwela. Non-teaching personnel nakuha namin, elementary, high school, college teachers, lahat nakuha namin. Walang pumasok. I mean, we were all there, but no classes. And all the students gathered and then they started chanting. Chant na sila. Natakot yung administrasyon. Tapos nag-welga kami. Ganda-ganda. Pero again, sobrang kaliwa, no? Sobrang. Because we were bargaining and umuokay yung si Fabela, yung owners, pero ganit. Ang gipit-gipit nila, nagalit kami sa kanila, winelga namin yun. Nung winelga namin, yung amor proprio niya, hindi niya na-take. Pinatalsik niya ako. Hindi nagagawin yun kami. Pero yung welcome yun, ganda-ganda nun kasi the entire community of Mandaluyong was with us. The Judge Dominguez was with us. And what it meant was 6 months yung strike na yun. For 6 months yung strike. It was the longest strike in the history of the Philippines private school teachers. Even public school teachers. I don't know if the strike lasted as long. Talagang napatagal namin yun. Pero natalo naman kami.
Anong year po ito? Martial law?
Martial law.
Martial law.
Martial law yun. 6 months, 1982.
Okay.
Yun. Tapos, dun sa strike na yon for 6 months, na-sustain namin kasi libre lahat yung bigas namin from the judge of the community. Tapos yung mga police, kasi yung mga anak nila nag-aaral sa Jose Rizal College, protektado nila kami. Ganun na, we had the protection of the community. So, sobrang makakita ng ganun
katagal.
Ganun katagal. Tapos, si Iye, nasa World Star, nandiyan pa ba sa Third World si Iye ngayon?
Dati pang director, pero connected
Pa rin siya. Siya yung teacher noon, nasa Education Forum sila, pero yung kapatid niya, si Sheila Coronel, yun ang mga reporters. Young reporters. They were covering me and then GMA7, si Ray Vidal, tsaka si June, yung nasa Senado ngayon. Wala kasing ABS-CBN nun eh. Basta GMA7. Ang ganda-ganda ng karanasan namin. Araw-araw na ginawa ng Diyos. Puro workers, puro teachers. Talagang binibisita nila kami. Di ba? Mga madre, mga pari, kung saan-saan. Nandun kami sa picket lines, tapos puntuhan. Tapos, it was in itself an entirely new world of activity. Buhay na buhay siya. And it lasted for 6 months. Then at the end, of course, talo rin ako. Talo kami. Tapos pinatalsik na ako.
Ano po nangyari sa inyo after that ouster?
Before my ouster, sabi ng UP, na siyempre kaibigan ko yan, sila Nicanor Johnson, at saka siyempre sila yung head ng, at saka patay na siya ngayon they were the ones who headed the Philippine Studies sa UP. No? Tapos sabi nila, we're not gonna give him the pleasure of ousting you. Eta, sabi nila gano'n. Pinasok nila ako as an instructor sa UP, Philippine Studies. So, nagturo ako ng PI. Diba? So, sa umaga, magpupan ako, tuturo ako sa UP. Sa hapon, magpipikat-pikat ako sa kanila. So, araw-araw, that went for some time. Hanggang nung kwan, then I had to tell the teachers. Pero namulat ang mga teachers, no? It got to a point, nakakatuwa they became so yung parang proletarianized, kumbaga. Pagka nakakakita sila ng strike, nakasakay kami sa bus, bumaba muna tayo. Kailangan bigay tayo ng support at tulong sa kanila. Pagka may strike, gano'n, ang ganda-ganda, di ba? Tapos yun sa mga teachers, napakakakuan. Tapos, ang isa pa doon, namatay na sa Serge Shernikin, sa KMU kasi I used to be, yung KMU gusto maging affiliate ang Alliance of Conservatives. Huwag naman, sabi ko, nakakatakot kayo. Sabi ko, huwag na lang, ako maiilang yung mga teachers. Pabayaan na lang natin. Pero yung si Serge Shernikin was the leader, he was the KMU leader of the sugar workers. So, when we were on strike, they were also on strike, La Carlota. So, to gain strength from each other, we would read their stories of struggle. Yung pala, they were doing the same. They were also reading the stories about us. Araw-araw nagkakawa ng Diyos, nasa dyaryo kami, nasa TV kami. Ganun talaga eh. Doon talaga nasimula yung yung paglalaban namin. Ay, hindi pa act yung JRC pa lang yan. Hanggang it was 2 years after we met each other for the first time. Ikaw pa yung nakarating tayo. Linikwan na, di ba?
So, yung mid-1980s, talaga may attempt ng magdugtong-dugtong yung iba-ibang pockets of resistance.
Oo. Actually, natural siya na, nagkakakilala na gano'n. Ano? And then, finally, when we decided to throw in the towel sa JRC strike, because the public school teachers, the state colleges and universities, UP, bali yung sila Benagem, yung mga professors of UP, professors from state colleges and universities, at saka yung mga public school teachers all came together. Tapos yun sa St. Joseph, Saints ko, tapos nag-meeting kami doon. Actually, parang inspired by the JRC strike, even if we lost, parang it showed that the teachers knew how to fight for their rights. That started the whole thing. Then we set up the Alliance of Concerned Teachers.
Then, simula po dun sa formation ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers hanggang dun sa bago mag-EDSA, ano yung mga naging activities ng and gaano nagka-prominent yung pagdidesisyon nyo na yun, to take the streets, rally sa
ano yun? Well, with the teachers, for instance, how we organize the teachers, JRC became was an inspiration to the teachers. So, nakilala ako because of JRC. And wherever I went, so I went to Dipolog, I was invited to several places, to Pampanga, to Dipolog, to Misamis Oriental, Occidental, kung saan-saan. And wherever I went, tinayo namin a chapter of the Alliance of Concerned Teachers. Ganun na yun nangyari. So, it was a conscious effort, no? Until we would go into concerted actions. It's never been done before, and since our time, it's never been done again. Which means to say, andito ko sa Manila, mananawagan ako concerted strike. Concerted, ha? Sabay-sabay yan. Pampanga, Dipolog, tapos Misamis Oriental, Cebu, Davao, ganyan. Siyempre, ang daka lagi is Metro Manila. Galit na yung mga suburbs. Galing ninyo manawagan. Kami nag-welcome, kayo hindi kayo makakuangkuan. Totoo naman, talagang Maynila. Kaya kita mo yung mga kahit sa jeepney strikes. Laging panalo yung mga Bicol. Laging mas madali ang pag-welcome sa suburbs kasi sa Metro Manila. Kasi nandito lahat ng politiko. And anyway, the point is, that was the only time I know in the history of the Philippines where we could wage coordinated actions all at the same time. Teachers lang on the issue of wages and quality of education for the students. Yun yung nakuha namin. And then, of course, so that was it. And then from there, it became an easier thing because there was the anti-basis issue. So with the anti-basis issue, we had to fight against the U.S. military bases. We used the Nuclear-Free Philippines, this coalition against nuclear weapons and so on. Kasi tinayo nga yung Westinghouse sa Bataan. That was another historical strike. But by then, the other earlier initiatives were the Nationalist Alliance for Justice, Freedom and Democracy. Yan sila Tito Gingona, sina Abraham Abe Sarmiento, Abraham Sarmiento, sino pa itong isa? Kaaway ni Nene Pimentel. Basta ilan yung mga yan na naging member ng National Alliance for Justice, Freedom and Democracy. Then, Aquino died. It was assassinated. So, Jaja. From Jaja, yung Cord, from Cord, si Aquino.
Sa mga formations po na to, since the assassination ni Ninoy Aquino, sinubukan bang pasukin yung Mindoro? I mean, kasi nakikita sa mga base sa research, the usual places para magrarally ay Luneta or part ng Makati or Diwasang Bonifacio. May conscious effort ba na subukang i-penetrate ang Mindiola?
Yung estudyante na yun, noong 1984 na yun, yun yung nagbasag. That was Leon Alejandro and the students. Yun nga yung hindi na ako nakapunta ron kasi I was sick, no? Basta, so, nagmarcha sila. Nakapasok sila sa Mendiola. So, tagumpay yun. That was fine. Walang nangyari sa kanila. Yung sumunod, mga estudyante na naman, anak ko, malaki na yung anak ko nun. Nasa kuha na siya, they call themselves. Basta it was a broad, coalition of students. Yun, disperse sila. Violent, yung nirgas na naman sila. Si Lina Broca yung namin. So, Lina kept calling niya, Esa, your daughter. Siya ba ako na ngayon natatakot? Kasi yung anak ko nandoon, magmamarcha. Yun, yung estudyante na nagbasa. Mendiola. And, but since then, nag-Mendiola na kami. Nagpapasok na kami. Tinayuan na kami ng barbed wire. Pero, ang mahalaga kasi, isang mahalagang aspeto na hindi masyado ko nakuwento. Ako kasi maganda yung karanasan ko lang. I mean, yung mga polis,
Guardia sa Mindiola.
yung nag-guardia sa Mendiola or sa US Embassy. Ang isa si Edu La Torre. Si Edu La Torre. General na siya. WPD. Yun ang his name. Yun. Pagka siya yung nagbabantay, tapos ako yung chief nego, yung madalas nasa nego ako eh. Kasi professional na ako. Hindi basa ulo, yung parang gano'n, kayo nakipag-usap. Basta kaming dalawa nag-usap, hindi nagkakaroon ng violent dispersals. Kasi we comply with each other's word. Yung pinag-usapan, gano'n, diba? Yung gano'n, so may prinsipyado. And in my experiences, di meron din mga police women, Oo, meron na. And I would always talk to the police women. Tapos, syempre, nagrarally ka, tapang-tapang mo. Pero kakausapin namin ng mga police women, nagre-relax sila, no? Tapos nakikinig sila. Kasi dinadala namin yung mga sahod issues nila, tsaka yung mga gano'n. Binibin over.
Hinahayaan kayo ng mga superiors nila to come Dito po sa nabanggit yung mga terms na negotiation, ayun usually mga points na dinidiscuss.
Time is the number one. Step forward, step backward. Porgy talaga. Sige na! Several steps lang naman. Tulak. Sige na! Several steps. Malaking tagumpay na yun pagka may 5 steps forward. Sa totoo lang, ano? Yung symbolic lahat ng mga ganyan. Tapos, time was the most significant. Up to when kami. Before, you had to exit. Otherwise, why not this person?
Ano po yung mga usual time ng mga rally ng sa Mindiola?
Well, abutin kami up to 6 o'clock. Yung gagabi-gabi na. Ayaw na nila kasi mga gabi eh. Ako rin naman ayoko ng gabi. Ayoko rin ng gabi. Kasi pag gabi, nakakatakot na rin yun eh. Diba? Yung hindi mo na makasama gagadi ng vaccine. Tapos yung mga snipers, hindi mo nakikita ba sila sa kasi.
During doon sa mga rallies?
Snipers sila. Pero yung mga snipers sila, yung Mendiola Massacre, kami yun eh. Andun ako sa harap eh. Kami yung nagninego nun.
Yun po yung itatanong namin sa inyo. Nakaalala po ba itong picture na ito?
Ang payat-payat ko palang nito mo. Ay, ang ganda nito. Oo, kami ni Ka Jimmy. Tama. Ay, ang ganda naman nito. Saan mo nakuha to?
Sa GMA News TV.
Ay, ang ganda.
Pero kilala din po namin yung photographer na nag-shot.
Sino siya?
Luis Liwanag.
Luis Liwanag. Ay, I'd like this. I'd like something like this.
Yes,
Oo.
actually, yung mga pictures na yan, gagamitin din po namin.
Historical to.
Kaya kasi
Were you able to identify all of them? I cannot identify.
Yeah. Actually po, dadalawa lang kayong babae. So kaya tanong ko, sino kaya ito?
Mukhang...
So, part siya ba ng mga kasama
ninyo? Ay, ang ganda naman ito, John.
Kasi po, yung ngayon nga,
Ay, frame ko yung ganito.
bigyan po namin kayo ng mas magandang kopya.
Oo, ha?
Yan po.
Yung mas uy, naku, si Ka Jimmy, matutuwa siya to. You know why? Ay, kasi, si Ka Jimmy nasa likuran. Di kami yun nandyan, ano? Nasa harapan kami, gumana kami. Umabante kami, nasa likuran kami. Kami yung pinakaharap. Ang ganda. Tapos, nakaka-inspire. Tapos, nung gumanon na kami, buko talaga yun. Nakasuya. Ginigit talaga kami. Sa totoo lang. Pero I did not know yung interrogate na kami. Hindi ako kumutubo. Pero sa totoo lang, pinipush kami from behind.
Pinapush kayo from behind.
Yeah! Ganyan yan. To tighten, to strength, to intensify.
Pero kayo nag-lead nung nag-relieve ang march.
Pero tapos pupush ka na. Sige. Adject provocator. Yung hindi provocator. Kung talaga, init talaga ng mga marchers.
Naalala niyo kung paano nagsimula yung march?
Oo! Ito na, magnenego na kami. Tunego eh. So, papunta na kami, magnenego na kami. Tapos noon, ito, nego na ito. Kasi ganyan na yan eh. Malapit na kami for negotiations. So, nandun kami. Tapos, nego.
Sino po yung kausap niyo sa side ng kapitbahay?
Mga police muna. Pero Western Police District. Pero the Marines were nakabantay din sa gano'n. Kasi what happened, Ed Dulatore was there. I remember him very well. Kasi, natatandaan ko yun. Di ba sabi ko sa inyo, kaibigan ko siya. No? Parang mabait siya sa akin. Tapos nung malapit na kami, I could already feel dito sa likuran ko. Pinupush na ako. So, teka muna, sabi ko gano'n, masyadong mainit ito mga nasa likuran. They wanted more action na gano'n, more militancy na gano'n. Handa rin ito mga malangyan ko. Kasi the president was in Japan. The president was in Japan during that time. Handa sila. So, ang ginawa nila, nung nagsisikan na kaming ganyan, gumaganon na, nung parang, all it needs is a little spark of yung disturbance. Pagka may disturbance na gano'n, atake na yung polis, no? So, umatake na yung polis sa amin. Nahulog ako sa ilalim ng shield. Yung shield na yan gumana na yung shield. Meron kaming bodies sa likuran may mga bodies, young people, who can easily help us. So, ang ginawa niya, pinulot niya ako, ginano niya yung shield, tapos pinulot niya ako, parang gano'n, no? Then I remember Ed Dulatore, nakita ko siya sa tabi. Takbo ka na, tumakbo ka na, umalis ka na ngayon, sabi niya, ano, get out. Why? I guess, alam nila, gulo na With that, basta nauna ko siyang nakitang gano'n, so yung body ko, halika na, takbo na tayo. So, gumano na kami, tumakbo na kami, no, from the shield. Hindi naman ako sinasaktan ng polis takbo akong gano'n. And then, with that, nung tumakbo na akong gano'n, nag-open racks ng polis ko ng mga polis. Tapos, yun yung nangyari doon. Ganun na nangyari. Tapos, kaya harap-harapan sila. Kami, nandun na kami, tumakbo na kami. Kasi kami yung front runners at kami nasa front. At nahulog ako with the shield. Yung takbo kong yun, sabi ni Jimmy, ang bilis mong tumakbo sabi niya, doon ako sa likuran mo, hindi kita mahabol-habol. Tumakbo ako from Mendiola to cross the bridge to the National Press Club. Takbo yan! With my body. Tuloy yan. Hindi kami tumikat. Tuloy-tuloy yung putukan And then, you don't know, basta nasa likuran mo, naririnig mo, no? They could be running after you. Basta ganun na yun Panic na yan di ba? Ganun. So, you run for your lives. Yung pala, sa likuran ko was Jimmy, and then there was a worker leader, and after that, pumunta kami sa isang kwan. Kasi pagkaganyan, sinasara yung mga stores, ganun hindi ka makakapasok. And then there was a friendly store, nakapasok kami bigla, just to mag-fight na sandali. With the worker leader nandun. Si Jimmy nasa likuran pa, si Ka Jimmy. Tapos, pahinga kami sandali. Siguro binigyan kami ng refreshments, parang ganun lang. after that, sige, let's go na. Balik kami. Hanggang we got to National Press Club. Tapos ako yung nagbukas ng National Press Club, nakita na nila, ikaw din sa Mendiola Massacre, yun namin. Then I gave the press conference about this thing. Ano we call it, the Mendiola Massacre. It's stuck. Mendiola Massacre. The next day, nagmarcha lahat. I remember very well, Teddy Boy Locsin. Teddy Boy Locsin was the executive secretary of Cory. And he was there. And then people were telling me, si Teddy Boy Locsin, he was marching with us. He just went. He just marched with us. In indignation siguro sila. Kasi we were massacred na naman. In indignation. Siyempre, nag-news na katakatakan yun. And si Teddy Boy and then si Rene Sagisag, these were the fair boys of Cory. Diba? Rene Sagisag, June Factoran, these were the fair-haired boys of Cory. And they looked at us and they wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole because we were, marumi kami yan, mga pula kami yan. Gano'n.
Pero sumali sila dun sa
indignation. Nandun sila lahat. Alex Padilla, yan na yan. I saw them. So I started talking to them. After you talk to Teddy Boy, you talk to them. Yan mo na siya. Yan mo na siyang tematya. Pero sila rin na yung naglapitan lang. Ito.
Paano na-transform nung pangyayaring yun, yung nakakaliwa by Federal?
Ano yun eh, Cory's time yan eh. Ang isang malinaw na message nun, the situation was so polarized that you remember that it was so polarized that nobody wanted to give in and confrontational ang pagtingin sa isa't isa eh. After all, Cory Aquino was supposed to have been this is the new government, di ba? Pero confrontation na nangyari dun sa ganun. Why? Because the people's organizations were impatient. After the ouster of Marcos, things had to be done. Una-una, nireject kasi kami kasi ang boycotters. So we boycotted. We stupidly boycotted the elections. Stupidly boycotted the elections. And, siyempre, if you boycott, wala ka, you don't belong. So we applied, we wanted to be framers of the Constitution. No, not a single one of us, except Jimmy Tadeo, because he was a peasant leader. Katanggap-tanggap siya. Si Ina Broca, tinanggap. May mga tinanggap sa amin. Pero yung makatulad ko, si J.B. Bautista, si Leon Alejandro, si Caleto na namatay na. Yung mga katulad namin, mga pula yan, masyadong radikal. Hindi kami tatanggapin. Yun, nag-polarize masyadong situation. Of course, by hindsight, iisipin mo, ako ngayon, kung tatanungin mo, ganun ba yung dapat maging nasta? Hindi. Dapat, mas magkuhan. Kasi, that's by hindsight na lamang yan, Pero yung kasi, we were impatient na, in a way, totoo rin yun. After the ouster of Marcos, dapat, magkaroon na ng kuwan. After the ouster of Marcos, dapat, mabilis sana yung pag-ayos din sa kuwan. But it was only after that yung agrarian reform was finally, worked out talaga. At the Congress addressed it. In a sense, I guess, kasi, this was before the agrarian reform, was it? Before yata. Before. So you can see that this struggle, this protest action, hastened the legislation for agrarian reform. I think that is something that you have to get killed, no? Diba? There has to be bloodshed. Bloodshed has to be spilled. No, I mean blood has to be spilled before you can get something for the masses, for the people. Parang ganun yung aral doon. Tapos highly polarized yung naging situation. Because these people, we came from the anti-Marcos struggle. And when Marcos was gone, we felt dapat ipagpatuloy yung push yung naman. But Cory, iba na. I mean, we will take our time.
So after nung massacre na yun, and then, ano pong naging mga, anong naging ang reaction niyo personally?
Well, first, natakot ako. Takbo ko mabilis daw ako tumakbo sa mga yung kajin nila. Natakot kami. Pero after that, parang ako na, hindi na friendly yung gobyerno. Ganun yun eh. Parang hindi na siya friendly kasi binasakot. They tried to massacre us. They succeeded in killing so many people. Iba na yung tingin ko kay Cory. Iba na yung tingin na, parang, wala siya yung, she's not that much different. In a way that was sad eh. Ako kasi, if I'm much older now, I'd probably have looked at it differently. I'd probably have treated her differently. But Cory was also such a big snob. I mean, you know what she said when she won? I mean, I'm so happy I won over Marcos. That is my first victory. My second victory is I won it without the left, without the help of the left. That's my second victory. Ganun yun. Kaya, magkaaway na kami ng ganun. Yun yung masakit ko. And, ako ngayon, I probably would have been much more circumspect, sisikapin mag-unawa. But, they also treated us with, minamarginalize kami. Minamarginalize kami sa kanila. At tatanggapin lamang ng mga soklems. Kami, hindi kami soklems.
Pero yung kaliwa po nun, I mean, meaning the partido, yung party mismo, is medyo buo pa in a way. Bakit hindi kayo makapush? Ay maka-react on a mas stronger or mas solidified na manner?
Yung partido kasi doon, I guess, yung that reaction was 1987 lang po, di ba? May mga problems na yan. May mga problems na yan. Pero hindi namin nararamdaman. Basta kami, ako, ang nararamdaman ko, for instance, I was a reluctant boycotter. I would have wanted to participate in the elections in some way. I don't think that I would have voted for Cory kasi yung utak namin, napaka-prejudice namin against trapo politicians, and for all we cared, Benigno Aquino was a trapo. Ganun eh, di ba? So Cory Aquino was also the wife of a trapo. So we would not have supported her. And mga ganon. Ang lakas ako sa prejudices namin. And so, but I would have wanted to participate in some kind of a non-partisan something para nandun ka, para kasama mo yung masa. Diba? So, I was a reluctant boycotter. So, doon na rin nagsisimulan ganon. Even without constitution, yung constitution, framework, yung dinadraft yung constitution, yung National Democratic movement, gusto nila boycott. No.
Sa referendum ng constitution.
Ibig kami nila Leyan. Si Leyan, may utak kasi si Leyan malawak ng isip natin. Sabi niya, so kami, uncomfortable kami yung grupo sa loob ng bagong alyansa makabayan. Diba? So, reluctant din kami na, bakit ka magnuno when 80% of the people overwhelmingly ratified the Constitution? Kahit na ba hindi nababasa? Kahit ba hindi pa nila alam kung ano yun? The point is, napaka-popular, napaka-overwhelming. No? Of course, galit na galit kami kasi hindi kami sinama sa Constitution. We wanted to be part of the framers of the Constitution. Tapos yung natalo nga yung Partido ng Bayan sa Senate, ganyan. That was a very clear political statement on the part of the administration. You guys, you'll never make it to power. Okay lang tumulong kayo noon. Pero kung akala ninyo makakatungtong kayo sa kapangyarihan, nagkakamali kayo. Yun yung statement nun eh. Kaya, talo na. Talagang dinaya. At sinabi sa amin, bailiwicks nila Jenny Cadeo, 0. Kabel, 0. United Party. I was supposed to run for the Senate then. Pero maayos yung political instincts ko. And Senator Lorenzo Tañada was the chair of Bayan. No? Di ang taas-taas ng, hi kami, no? Kasi biro mo Ambrosio Padilla, Tañada, mga dating senador, sila yung mga alam mo, nung nagrarally kami sa Bataan noon, yung mga sundalo, sir, ngayon pa lang yung kayo nakikitang personal. Sabi nga nung kila Tañada, sakala kay Ambrosio Padilla, sir, ko lang na sir, pwede bang mag-autograph? Ganon, no? Hamang-hanga sila. Kinakausap sila ni Tañada. Yun ang tinuro ni Katani sa akin eh. Kinakausap yung mga sundalo, sa kanya, tsaka huwag kayo magkuhan. Hindi tayo magkaaway rito. Tapos pinapaliwanagan what the thing was all about, diba? Mga ganyan. So, paano ako napasok ng kay Tañada? Yung kwan. When it came to the nomination for the Senate slate, I was the one that was supposed to be part of them. Alam niyo, last minute, I declined. Kasi may political instincts told me matatalo. So, nagtataka si Tañada, why? Sabi niya, why? Eta, this is your chance to enter the Senate. Yabang-yabang namin, senador ka agad, gusto namin maging senador. But why don't you want? You are being nominated for the Senate. No, Katanis, may political instincts somewhere, somebody was telling me, though, because hindi ka mananalo. Hindi, lulukuhin kayo. Tsaka hindi kami handa. Iba yung electoral machinery. Iba yung electoral terrain. Diba? Iba yan. Iba yung namamatcha ka sa kalye. Pagka-election na, ibang-iba yan. Wala naman kaming karanasan, ano? Boycotters pa nga kami. Wala kaming gano'n kami mag-boycott ng lahat ng eleksyon. So, yun yan nangyari.
Actually, yun yung susunod ko itatanong sa inyo. So, hindi halos kayo nag-participate dun sa unang election. Then, ang sumunod na election for the Senate ay reluctant and medyo hindi masyadong planado yung engagement. Then, nangyari yung Minchola Massacre na basically sa sense nila na ma-marginalized ngayon. Mas pinush ba noon yung kilusan na mag-avail na lang ng mag-marcha sa lansana?
Oo, syempre, no? Dahil sa, nung talunan na dun sa Senado, at saka that created a lot of internal conflict also. Because, halimbawa, si Boy Tripon, patay na siya ngayon, no? Pinatakbo siya sa Paranaque. Ang daming pinatakbo ng kilusan. Ano, pagkahanda. Si Maita Gomez, pinatakbo sa Sambayon.
Sa mga
congressional seats. Sila yan nga pinatakbo. Ako senador. Di talo. Pero ako hindi ako sumama sa Senado at the last moment because may political instincts na ako ayoko. And then after that, nung we suffered our devastating defeat, dun na lumabas yung naramdaman na namin na siyempre mixed feelings siya, no? Marami na kaming questions na nire-raise. Hindi tayo handa, tumatakbo tayo sa ganyan. And then what struck me pa was when they told me, alam mo, Eta, dapat tumakbo ka. Kasi hindi naman importante yung manalo. Ang importante, magamit mo yung arena na yan para makapag-propaganda ka ng programa natin. Buti na nga hindi ako tumakbo ka. Kasi kung tatakbo ako, gusto kong manalo. And what happened was I was actually I went to the Vienna conference as part of the alternate people's organizations and so on. Then after that, we all went to Holland and then we discussed. Tapos doon ko na nakita mga splits na sila. Matindi na iniimbita na ako din sa kabila. So sabi ko naman din sa I don't mention names kasi I don't want myself. So dun sa mga grupo, sabi ko dun sa one group was inviting me and then the other group I said, oh, they were inviting me. And sabi niya, pwede ba? Huwag na lang kaya. Inimbita ako. Paano ba? Sabi ko, huwag mo na kaya. Pwede ba? It's an appeal. Huwag na lang pumunta. Sige, sabi ko, di na ako pupunta. Sabi niya, ayaw akong pumunta. Pero matindi na yan. Then, siyempre, malungkot yun. Kasi, parang, nagigirian na. Questions were being raised. A lot of questions were being raised. So, finally, I had a long talk with yung older group. And then, sabi ko, I remember, it's very important that we help maintain the integrity of people's organizations. Because all my life, when I entered the National Democratic Movement, I was a mass leader. I was chair of the Alliance of Concerned Teachers. I was director of Popular Struggles until I became president of Bagong Alyansa Makabayan. I became president of Partido ng Bayan. Jaja, I always held yung leading position. So I was always the mass leader. I was always seen in the center of things, in the rallies, and so on and so forth. I think the integrity of these people's organizations must be maintained. I don't think there should be any intervention. Hindi dapat pinapasukan yan. Pabayaan ng mga leaders, ng mga pesante, to decide for themselves. At dapat igalang natin kung anong desisyon nila. Tapos gawin yung kabataan, bla 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 bla. Sige. Basta ang gagawin lang natin, titiyakin lang natin na we have to get rid of the elements, the desirable elements from within. Then afterwards, we just pick up the pieces. Ayusin natin. Pero we have to focus and target the undesirable elements. Kasi meron mga desirable elements yan. And then after that, we just pick up the pieces. But don't touch our organizations because that's where I belong, some people's organizations. Don't touch them. Sure. We keep the integrity. I mean, there was no categorical answer na we won't do this na. Sige lang. Parang binigyan lang ako ng audience. Ayun. Then, pag-uwi ko sa dito, parang nagiging mensahero din ako. Mensahero na pinapaliwanag ko. Eto, galing ako doon. Ito yung paliwanag. Kailangan daw, mag-target na lamang ng kaaway. Tapos you pick up the pieces. Yan ang sinasabi. Target the enemy. Tapos get rid of them. Tapos pick up the pieces. Tapos yun, nung December, nagkaroon kami ng Human Rights March. Kasi usually pag December, malakas pa yan, no? So yung mga traditions ng buwan, pag May 1, puno yan. Pagka-December, ang dami yan. Human Rights, International Human Rights Day. Ganyan yan. Magaganda talaga. At malalaki. Malalaki. Hindi siguro kasing laki ng South Korea, no? Pero, puno yan. Puno. Tsaka, reputable. Hindi mo pagtatawanan. Hindi ka mahihiya. Reputable yung marches. Ibig sabihin, yung malaki siya, hindi siya hinahakot. Mga voluntarismo yan. I mean, of course, we would have our buses. Pero kung yan yung mga pupuntahan namin, tapos magbibigay ako ng pag-aaral na ito yung dahilan kung bakit kailangan tayo ng marcha. Minumulat mo lagi yung mamamayan. Ayun. Ganun yun. And so, noong December, nagkaroon ng mga fax messages. Kasi nasa kasaysayan yung dinera yung mga ilang leaders na mga nakakulong noon, pero when Cory became president, pinalaya na natin. So, eto, nanawagan ka sa December 10 na nagkakaisa tayo. Kasi, headlines. Eto, mga kaaway. Tak. Enemies of the people, enemies, labag-lang. Kaya ang sakit-sakit kasi sila yung mga nandun nakasama-sama namin. Yun yung mga pala. Tapos, tumawag ako sa kanila, then I gathered them. I mean, we all gathered each other naman. Tapos, I would call up the Netherlands and then say, what are you doing sending fax messages? And disturbing our peace. Why are you disturbing our peace? Mas mapayapa naman kami dito sa Pilipinas. Bakit nyo kami ginugulo? Ano ba yan? Ayun. So, tapos yung andun, Inosente yung mga ilan sa kanila. Tapos sabi ko, yung kinakwento ko, ano, sabi nila gano'n. Ganun ba yun? Sabi nila, oo. Eh, ang dami-dami fax messages na pinadala at nagpo ng mga kaaway. So, tatandaan ko yung sabi sa akin, target mo lang to get them. That was it eh. That was it. Ipakadal pa. I will target them. Ganun. So, ayaw mo, kausapin namin dahil mga kasama namin. So, kinausap nila. Sila yung nakausap. Sila yung nakablunsi. Since then, yun na yun. Tapos, one thing led after another, until mga peasants, mga KMU, mga KMP, isa lang yan, solid yan. Nagkakagulo na. So, kailangan may mediator. So, kami, bayan. I was the president of Bagong yan sa mga bayan din sa akong pupunta. Overnight yan, pagpupuya ko namin. KMP, nakakulong si Kajimi Tadeo, dahil kinulong siya afterwards kinulong siya. So, nakakulong siya sa Muntinlupa. Lagi na sinasabi, ang aming hangarin ay lupa, hindi ganitong munting lupa. Ito mo naman ito. Napakamunting itong lupang binibigay sa akin samantalang ang lupa para sa magsasaka. Yun na yung slogan niya. But anyway, habang that was going on, sa Juan, why did I mention Jimmy Tadeo? Because this was
may mga split ako sa mga
yung mga split na. So Jimmy was still inside. So ang head noon was Mariano. Tapos yung mga si Nung Bob Propongo, yung mga Western, Visayas, yung mga regional leaders, nakahiwalay na sila. Tapos, kailangan nila ng mamamagitan para kausapin sila dun sa issues nila. Ako, acceptable. Si Lily, Nakpil, acceptable. Si Nathaniel Santiago, hindi acceptable. Ayaw nila sila. Bumagabag sila natin. Pwede ba, hindi siya not discrimination. Hindi ka acceptable dito. Kami lang acceptable. Kasi hindi naman. Yun, nag-overnight siguro kami na di-discuss namin. Ano mo yun? Na-unite ko sila. Na-unite namin ni Lily sila. Talagang tinalakay. Tapos, inilabas namin ang integrity ng isang autonomous, independent people's organization. That's the most important thing. And the decisions that you make must be your decisions. And they must be respected. Because as there is the dignity of every human being, so too should be dignified the integrity of every organization. Ganun yun. Yun, nakuha namin sa ganun. Nag-unite! Nag-unite sila, but the rejection is, sabi nila, they were very skeptical. Oh yeah, sure, we'll unite, but in the end, they'll split us. Ganun na. Nagalit pa ako sa kanila. Wala naman kayong tiwala. Bakit naman masyado kayong ganyan? Why don't you work towards unity? Hindi mo naman masyadong naiintindihan. No matter what we do, they'll split us. Unite tayo, pinagpuyatan natin to. And then yung mga the conventional, put it that way, sabi nilang ganun, can you help us? Please don't leave us. Help us as we set up our Congress. Be with us so that may gumagabay na parang external. Sige, sabi ko, I'm willing to do that. And then about the umuwi kami, siguro mga 2 o'clock in the morning na yun, 1 o'clock in the morning. About 6 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call. And then the phone call said, please, give this to us. Please, is it all right with you? Yung decisions that you arrived at, yung unifying the peasants sa PNP, pwede ba bitiwan mo na lang, bitiwan lang ng bagong alyansa ng kabayan? Sabi na lang ba?
Kami meaning yung partido. Sila?
I don't use that kasi yung wild, but you can run it.
Yeah.
But yun. So I said, no. You respect us. You respect what we stand for. You respect our position. Pinaghirapan namin ito. Mga tao ito. And I respect them. I will not give them to you. But of course, who am I? Diba? Ano naman ang hold ko yan? Ano ang bagong alyansa makabayan president? So, a few days after, that's good. Ganyan, ganyan. That's why, nung nakita ko yung sabi ko, wala na ito. This is the beginning of the end. After a while, we decided to get out. At that time, chair si Cabell was OIC yata ng bagong aliansa Makabayan. Because by then, I was already very ganun. So I told Cabell, alis na ako sa leadership. Bakit? Well, hindi naman naman nangyayari eh. There's an enemy everywhere lurking inside and arbitrarily sasabihin, yan, kaaway yan. Yan, kaaway yan. Ano ba? This is not the kind of organization we believe we should be. So, as a group, umalis ka.
Yung pagpasok ng party list issue or party list na atin sa legislation, paano nabago nun o na-transform yung ganong setup na yung left is basically nagpa-fragment? Then, eto naman, na-institutionalize yung supposed access na inyo sa legislation. And, pag tinignan pa, saan na mag-figure out doon yung mga pagkilos sa ninyo sa ganong sitwasyon?
Well, yung party list, that was already 90s, no? Oo. So, itong split, while this thing was going on, yung Mendiola kasi was earlier. The last beautiful Mendiola March was our December 10. No? It must have been 1994 or 1993. Mga 1993 yun, no? 1993. So, kung na yun, matindi na yung labanan sa loob doon. Yung party list, in the meantime, yung mga bisig, iba yan eh, ibang strain tong bisig. So, sila Ronald Llamas. Kami not them kami eh. Sila bisig. Tapos magkaaway kami noon. No? Madalas kong kaaway si Ronald, no? Dahil which is kung gano'n. Tapos yung mga social democrats, sila yung nandun. Tapos kami naman dito. Sila Randy David, Dudong Nemenso, kasama sa bisig. Gano'n. Kami naman, sila Satur, kasama ko. Ganyan. Although Satur, wala pa si Satur doon eh. Si Satur was somewhere quietly, somewhere. Basta hindi pa siya, hindi naman siya mass leader noon pa lang sa kanila nung napalaya na siya. Anyway, what happened at this time was, may IPER kami, Institute for Political and Economic Reform. Tapos ako yung nagpapatakbo noon. Kasama ko si Vic Ladlad, si Tita Luby, kami yun eh. Si Kapulong, si Romy Kapulong, yan, no? Yan ang mga kasama-sama ko sa IPER. Nung nag-split na gano'n, kinuha ko ang IPER. Hindi naman nila inagaw sa akin. Tapos si Tita Luby, sabi ko, okay, executive director. So I became executive director of IPER. So, with IPER, at that time, pumasok na yung mga bisig. Kinakausap pa si Fidel Acawili noon. Kasi kami nila Fidel, National Movement for Civil Liberties, with, what's his name? R.C. Constantino. Then we also had Abacada, yung anti-bases. Then we have Freedom from Death Coalition, kami yung first board. So, ganun yun, ano? Dami-dami namin coalitions. Ang lakas-lakas. But by then, habang tinatayo namin yan, you know, come to think of it, the coalitions was saving the mass movement in some ways. Because, as we were getting to be so engulfed in our girian sa loob. At the same time, we were setting up coalitions, di ba? Continuous yan. With BISIG, with iba't ibang mga puwersa, sila Liling Briones, they come from the old TKAP strain yan di ba? O, ganyan. And nung natayo namin yung Freedom from Death Coalition, I was in the first board, si Liling Briones was the first head, chair, president, marami nila ako, tapos yung mga Abacada, National Movement for Civil Liberties. Somehow, the other forces played a part in bringing around yung continuous one ng movement. Come to think of it, di ba? Because kami, split, we were so engrossed in our awayan-awayan, no? Ganyan. And then, so, medyo sinalba yun. So, we were moving as coalitions already. Yeah. And during that period, yung IPER, basta sa akin, yun yung aking NGO, dito yun, and then, we started working on the party list. Yeah. Tapos si Bisig, initiative ni Bisig yun he started talking to sila Fidel Agpawili, NMCL, tapos si Ed de la Torre, si Danny Serrano, in setting up some kind of a citizens action party. Yung akbayan. And then they asked me, I'm too busy with my iPod. So I worked on the party list, and then I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out dun sa Citizens Action Party. Masama na rin ako doon. Pero yung party list ang nilabang ko. Tapos si Heidi Yora, chair siya ng Commission on Elections. Tapos sabi ni Heidi, huwag kang masyadong critical yan sa party list. No matter how flawed it is, kahit ang pangit-pangit ng itsura niya, ang importante, mapasa nila yan. Okay? Pag napasa nila yan ngayon, pag pinasa nila yung party list na yan, then you can run for that. When you're in Congress, then you start working for the amendments. Pero ang importante, makapasok ka. Heidi was always a friend. She was always very sympathetic. And I always listened to her. So I did. So, nag-lobby na kami doon with Bishop Bacani, Bishop, what's his name, from Cavite, nakamunta ko ng Garon, Protestante, Dudong na Menso, galit-galit sa mga politiko at saka ako. 7:30 in the morning, nasa Malacanang Manila Hotel. Bycam na yan bicameral. So sila na yan, Senado at House. So nagpunta kami roon. Nangako ko yung Bishop Bacani, tatalin ko yung mga madre at mga pare. Okay. 7:30. Pagdating namin doon, walang pare, walang madre. Where is your legion of nuns and priests? Sabi niya. Bishop, they must be still sleeping, sabi niya. They knew about this, but they did not. So, 4 lang kami na nag-lobby. Ang promise ko, marami. So, bakit kami yan? Pagdating namin doon sa party list to, pagdating namin doon, si Tito Espinosa, yun yung pinatay, yung congressman, siya yung chair ng committee ng House, no? Siya, tsaka kung sino yung mga sa Senado, nung sila Herrera. Doon nag-discuss kami. Kinagalitan ni Bacani silang lahat. Kinagalitan niya sila. You passed that party list law. Sabi niya, kinagalitan niya. What are you doing? Blablabla. Gulat kong gano'n. Si Dudong naman nakikinig na sinusunod na gano'n. Yung party list law na yun, di yun na nangyari. Nagda-deadlock sila. Nag-threaten sa kanila si FDR. Pag hindi ninyo pinasayang party list law na yan, imagine na baliktad. Pag hindi ninyo pinasayan, sabi niya gano'n, I am going to stop, I will veto your other bills. Yun natin yung lagi sila. So, nakapilitan sila. Yun. By that time, nagpo-coalition work na kami. Kasama-sama pa namin sila. I mean, it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Hindi pa naman ganun yung kwan. Pero ako, maalis na ako dun sa kwan. And then later on, nawala na. And then, tinayo na namin ang akbayan. Tapos, lumakan na kami.
Doon sa pagkaka-establish po ng party list as a means na ma-involve kayo sa formal legislation, gaano pa naging importante yung mga pagkilos sa bansa?
May corresponding good link. Well, naging importante sila pagka nagkakaroon ng controversial issue sa loob ng parlamento, sa Kamara. Nagiging napaka-importante ang pagkilos sa lansangan. Ibig sabihin, malaki yung mobilization. Ano yun? May epekto yun. Malakas ang impact nun. Pero, ang mas nagiging importante na pagkilos ng people's organizations at mga NGOs, yung lobby work at pagsuporta nila, pagbibigay ng pananaliksik, yung issues ng mga particular issues, halimbawa, no? Kung ano man yun, kay human rights, kay economic, kay workers issues, yung pagkilos nila, yung sipag nila na pagkilos dun sa lobby work. Yun yung but that took time. Because the left, as it was hostile to government. Government is enemy. You know? Government is enemy. So why are we gonna bother ourselves lobbying in that reactionary Congress? Ganun yung attitude. Kasi hindi ngayon na lamang ang talagang mas ayos na eh. Pero noon, ganun yun. That is why sila bayan muna, wala pa sila sa, kami lang ang pumasok. Kasi they would look at us, they'd look down on us na, oh, wala nang nangyayari dyan sa inyo. Pero lumabang kami, nanalo kami. O di nakapasok kami. Tapos, nagulat sila nung nilantad namin yung 500,000 pesos na natanggap namin in 1998. Kami na rin yung nagtulo. Yun yung parang tumuhit yung party list sa loob ng Kongreso. Ito palang ibig sabihin ng pagiging big party list dito sa loob. That really attracted the whole nation, public, yung media. Wow, may party list yung pala ibig sabihin. Hindi sila loyal dun sa mga katrapuhan na pinagkagagawa. Tapos nananagot sila sa tambayan, nagre-report sila sa tambayan. Yun yung naging mensahe ng ginawa namin na rin ng nagtulong yun. At doon nakita nila sa tour na we're left out. What are we doing outside? They're already there. They're making a lot of noise. They're getting the media. They're getting public attention. And with that, nakipag-usap din sila sa gobyerno. Ang gobyerno interesado mag-peace talks. So, niligawan sila.
Sa 9 years niyo in Congress, gaano kayo padalas pa rin napupunta sa Mindoro?
Less na. Tapos nagkaroon na kami ng contradictions also with the designate mga ito, mga APL, Alliance of Progressive Labor. Nagtatampo sila sa akin kasi nire-reduce ko na yung pagpupunta ko sa mga ganang matcha. And ang feeling nila parang you don't pay attention to us anymore, to the people. No, this is a different terrain. I have to study. Sa kongreso na ako ibang mundo na ito. Tapos, kung tatanga-tanga ka, di ba committee hearing na ganyan? Mga kausap mo mga graduates of Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Yale, na cream of the crop sila ng mga powerful families, no? Mga anak ng mga Benedictos o anak ng mga Kuwakos o anak ng mga kusino-sino, na mga mayayaman, na nag-aaral sa kung saan-saan, pagkatapos pagbalik nila rito, syempre, they have stock knowledge. At pag committee hearings na ganyan, you're talking about taxes, you're talking about workers' issues and management, you're talking about, areas of concern of governance, which is very complicated, whether it's education, health, what have you, or cybernet, or, information technology, whatever it is, these people already have stock knowledge of certain things. Ngayon, here you are, coming, fresh from the woods. Diba? Tapos pagpasok ka sa ganyan, tapos makikipagpaligsahan ka, tapos ito namang humihila sa'yo, ito mga, kailangan bumisita ka sa amin dito sa regions pag gusto nila ipakita ko. Ito yung aming reward, ito yung aming kwat. Ito yung aming taga-kongreso. Kita yung gano'n, sa masa, ganyan. Tapos, kailangan mag-marcha ka, nagtampo sila sa akin, hindi ako nagpunta ng isang workers rally, sa mundo, tampo nila. But, sabi ko, wala namang magtuturo sa akin kung paano ako makipag-discussion sa mga committee hearings on taxation, on that. Diba? Ako lang ang magtuturo sa sarili ko. Ako yung mag-aaral. So, I had to have a crash course on my own by myself because I was the only one. Nobody taught me how to do things. Yan, nilantad nga namin yung 500,000 pesos. Of course, we got, the public's attraction. Binantahan na kami. In-isolate kami. None of my bills was passed into law. Kinastigo kami. You do not behave that way. You don't disturb the Old Boys Club. You are here, you better, behave. If you do not behave, we're gonna isolate you. Ganun yung mensahe sa amin. Tapos yung amin naman, yung akbayan, yung workers, halika, kailangan magbansya, kailangan magganito, ganon. That was my contradiction. So nakakaaway ko sila. Kasi my sense told me, you wanna be credible, you wanna perform, you wanna make good, you better know the terrain. Hoy, sabi ko ganun, concrete analysis of concrete conditions, ka nga, no? So, kailangan pag-aralan ko ang condition ko. Kailangan pag-aralan ko how to be credible as a lawmaker. I knew nothing. The most that I knew was to be a teacher. Pero wala naman akong particular skills, expertise, no? Magaling ako magsalita sa rally, sa mga whatever. Pero yung technical know-how, Hindi ko alam. Para po pumasok mo din sa mga nitty-gritty. Nakatingin na lang ako dito sa mga abogado, mga accountants, mga statisticians, mga economists, na may mga particular skills, di ba? Yeah. That was the difficult thing. But, after all was said and done, I was correct. I insisted, I have to study, give me time to study. So, na-lesson yung mga marcha-marcha, etc. Because I had to do my legislative work first. And I don't regret.
Last na May 1 po, kinover namin yung, as part ng study na to, kinover namin yung rallies ng Mindoro. And the isang ko sa mga agad na makapansin ay may magkaibang time slot yung rally, kumbaga. May 1 to 3 at may 3 to 6. Ano po ang basa nyo? Anong pag-evaluate nyo sa ganong kalagayan na supposedly parehong grupo ito ng manggagawa, yung mga leader ay parehong ina-associate sa kanila, pero ngayon nagkakaroon na ng yung isa ganitong oras ka pupunta dito, yung isa ganitong oras ka pupunta dito.
Well, I think it was the city government's way of trying to, kasi alam mo na yung sitwasyon, to, provide space for both of you kasi you know that you're not one anyway, di ba? So, sige, why don't you, makikiusap, baka kayo, pwede kayo dito. And of course, it was more comfortable with them, di ba? Kaya hindi makikiif, because, obviously, hindi nagkakaya sa mga workers for a long period of time. Ganun yan, ganun yung ibig sabihin. And in our case, we didn't mind kasi it's so artificial trying kunwari to march together when, in fact, nagigirian kayo. With Cabell doon, I tried to at that point, when Cabell died, I spoke. Kasi Satur, level kasi kami ng unity with Satur, kasi kaibigan kasi bakit, meron kaming sariling relasyon di ba? I can talk to Satur anytime, I go to his house, we eat, gano'n. Although we have differences, nagkagawa na yun kami. Pero, we are able to kind of balance it. So, it was an outsider who called me up, who texted me and said, Cabell fell from the coma. So, na-shock ako. How true is this? What are you talking about? Yes, it's true. So, tinawagan ko si Satur, yes, he's here, he's dying, sabi gano'n. Nag-inasay ko. So, tinawagan ko rin. Anyway, nung namatay na si Cabell, si Cabell may pinagsamahan kami niyan, tsaka ni Kat, si Jimmy Cadeo, tsaka sila yan. Kasama kami. Sinabi ko, nung kinausap ko yung pamilya, tapos kinausap ko yung KMU, si Bong Labog. Hiningi ko kay Satur yung number ni Bong. Tapos tinawagan ko si Bong Labog, Elmer Labog, chairman KMU. He responded. Sabi niya, salamat kayo. Sabi niya. Sabi ko, Elmer, Bong, pwede bang si Cabell kasi hindi naman siya taga-KMU, hindi naman siya nakpawis. Kung na yan, leader yan ng mga manggagawa, pinipilanan siya ng kahit sino manggagawa ng mga samahan. Makabigyan natin ng pagpukay mula sa mga iba't ibang samahan. Yun. Nung sinabihan ko yung mga iba't ibang samahan, tuwa sila, sige, gawin natin yan. Sige, tingnan natin kama. Baka sa House of Representatives, pati natin ayusin. Ganun yun, Di maganda. So, spontaneously, pagka sinasabihan mo yung mga yan, natutuwa sila, nagugustuhan nila, di ba? Yun. The next day, iba na. Sinasabi ng Bong Labog. Ibig sabihin, may nakausap na sa kanila. May intervenor na. Na sinabihan, no? He belongs to us. And so the other workers organization na gusto sana magbigay ng tribute have some kind of a joint activity with KMU once. And the others felt that was fine. KMU in the beginning thought there was nothing wrong with it until the next day. I'm sure there was intervention. Nag-iba na naman. Yeah. That's what I mean. So, it's not coming from us, but it's really may intervention talaga. So, why should we insist? And that goes with CARP, etc., all of that. Even our peasants are being killed. I just got my email ngayon. Masbate, Bundok Peninsula doon, pinapatay sa Bicol, meron na rin Tapos sa Negros, yung orchard na nangyari namin. Mga ganun eh, pinapatay na. Binabaril ang mga pisante ng NPA. So, matindi rin yun. And because of that, you don't become friendly when they kill you. Diba? Yung may nostalgia kayo. Pagka pinapatay na kayo, you don't become friendly. Bakit pinapatay? Because the policy that we're pushing is the thrust that we're pushing, the perspective that we're pushing is the democratic left to unite and help bring about basic fundamental reforms. But it has to be a democratic left. Kailangan nakikinig kayo sa isa't isa. Kailangan you respect each other. Kailangan you respect each other's differences. Kailangan hindi lang ikaw ang tama. Kinakailangan yung mga we learn to live with each other.
Hindi ba pag iniisip sa ngayon na sa napakaraming taon, simula dekada 70, marami kayong pagkilos na ginawa ng sabay-sabay sa Mindoro, naging biktima kayo ng karahasan ng Estado sa Mindoro, maraming nabwis na buhay doon. Pero sa kabila ng lahat ng yun, ay parang hindi mapigil yung patuloy na paghihiwalay.
Oo. Well, Mendiola was a symbol of struggle against the oppressive government. No? So the unity in Mendiola symbolizes that. And that should be respected all the time. That we are naghihiwalay ngayon does not in any way diminish the significance of Mendiola. Sa akin tingin. Dahil Mendiola represented the experience of a people united against an oppressive regime, a people united in the struggle for freedom and justice. That was what Mendiola was all about. That the people who were once united in Mendiola are now going separate ways is another context that explains other problems that have to do with themselves, these different people. But they are not able to resolve their own problems because of so many variables. Maraming reasons para diyan. I cannot claim to know the answers. I can probably offer some only. But yung paghihiwalay na ito, para sa akin, hindi niya pinatatabang yung naging kabuluhan at kahalagahan ng Mendiola sa kasaysayan at sa kamalayan ng mamamayang Pilipino sa kanyang karanasan.
Okay, ma'am. Yun po yung last part ng tanong ko. Maraming salamat po. We'll give you the transcript at yung kopya po ng recording bago po namin siya i-upload para tingnan nyo baka may gusto kayong part na madalin or i-edit. Yun po.